The reason I'm making this video is there is so much noise online right now. There are a lot of coaches, there are a lot of forums, there are a lot of Facebook support groups, there are a lot of research studies from people who do not understand this illness at all, and they're confusing people. And I'm gonna put my stake in the ground right here and tell you that if you are reading something from somebody who has never been through this, who has never helped anybody fully recover from this, do not listen to them. I don't care if they're the smartest doctor in the world. I don't care how many degrees they have. If they don't know how to recover, don't listen to them. How's it going, Thrivers? Miguel here from CFS Recovery. In this video, I'm going to be talking about why it's so important to take advice only from people who have recovered, or people who have been doing better than you and have actually been in your shoes, people who understand what it's like to go through what you're going through, and actually have some firsthand experience going through something like having mysterious brain fog, debilitating symptoms, chest pains, heart palpitations, severe anxiety to the point where you feel physical things in your body. And the truth is, there are a lot of people who give out advice, like doctors, and they honestly don't know what they're talking about. And I may offend some people with this video, especially anybody from the medical community who watches this, but I'm gonna speak on my personal experience and what I've experienced talking to hundreds of people all around the world. Now, before we even dive into this topic, let me ask you, if you were out of shape and you wanted to get in shape, what kind of personal trainer would you hire? Would you hire a personal trainer who is in great shape, who has the physical appearance and capabilities and the ideal body that you desire? Or would you want a personal trainer who's out of shape, inconsistent, doesn't go to the gym as much, and they leave you wondering why they're even a personal trainer? It's kind of a silly question. Obviously, you would go with a personal trainer who looks like he practices what he preaches. On the other hand, if you're trying to learn an instrument, if you're young and let's say you're trying to learn the piano, would you go to somebody who doesn't know how to play the piano? Another rhetorical question. Of course not. You'd want to find a piano player, but not only just a piano player who knows how to communicate and break down concepts and pass on those skills to other people. So how does this relate to recovery? The reason I'm making this video is there is so much noise online right now. There are a lot of coaches, there are a lot of forums, there are a lot of Facebook support groups, there are a lot of research studies from people who do not understand this illness at all, and they're confusing people. And I'm gonna put my stake in the ground right here and tell you that if you are reading something from somebody who has never been through this, who has never helped anybody fully recover from this, do not listen to them. I don't care if they're the smartest doctor in the world. I don't care how many degrees they have. If they don't know how to recover, don't listen to them. And the reason I'm telling you this is because we can see a lot of scary information online, whether about long COVID, CFS, fibromyalgia. If you search all this stuff up, especially CFS and fibromyalgia and things like that, you're gonna read things like, there's no cure for this. There's no way you can recover. You only go into remission. All this garbage. It's not true. And guess what? The people saying that are not recovered themselves, or they think they're recovered because they're somewhat functional, but then they're gonna go around telling everybody, no, you actually can't fully recover. So you have to really question, okay, are they doing this because that's actually the truth? Because why are there people like me who recover? Why are there people in the program like this person, this individual, this individual, this individual, this individual? Are we just gonna say that these people won the lottery or they fluked out even though they were diagnosed with long COVID, diagnosed with chronic fatigue syndrome, diagnosed with fibromyalgia, they just got lucky? Or maybe there's an actual framework, an actual recovery system that people can use to get better, right? So if other people can do it, you can do it as well. It's just a matter of who are you gonna believe and listen to, right? And I'm not making this from the standpoint of having anything to sell you. Most people don't need a program to recover, right? It accelerates the progress. It accelerates that whole recovery journey, but do you need it? No. By all means, you could do this on your own. The programs are there to help people, not just my program, but any program online. So you just have to be really careful where you're getting your information from. And it hurts me when I see people come to me and I'm on calls with them and they're like, Miguel, how can I get better? I read this thing. Did you read that study? Did you read that study? And in fact, The reason I'm making this video right now is because I was on a webinar. I'm in the process, we're submitting a lot of case studies to research centers for awareness about an actual solution, specifically for long COVID. And I go to this webinar and they're talking about things that have no solution in it. It's just all about this study and that study. This many people are sick, they're feeling this symptom and this symptom. And by the end of the hour, I'm just like, aren't we here for a solution? Because all I hear is just people spewing data that will not move the needle forward at all. And I'm putting in the chat, literally putting in the chat that, hey guys, you know, people can actually recover. There's so much proof out there. Look at this video, look at this video. This person was diagnosed, ignored, right? Ignored by these people. So it really makes you question, are they stuck in their own ways where they're just ignoring the recovery stories because they're so focused on something else? And when you are in the trenches of this, you may be looking for support, looking for a community. And of course, you'll search this stuff up. You'll find some Reddit forums, you'll find some Facebook groups, looking for anything because you want a sense of understanding. You want people who know what you're going through. But the thing is, there's a lot of people out there who are in networks of doom. We call them networks of doom for a reason, because I've come across these groups, you probably come across them, and people are just venting. They're talking about how horrible this disease is, how they wish they could just have their life back and they'll never recover. And some of those things are valid, you know? I wish I had my life back when I was sick. I was in a rough headspace, but the last thing I needed, the last thing that was really gonna help me was people complaining about how horrible their situation is. What does that do? And the thing is, these are people who are still sick, right? And they're offering people advice. And I see it all the time, actually. There's people I talk to online and they're commenting on my videos on YouTube and Instagram. And then someone out of nowhere comes in and says, oh yeah, this is not true. It doesn't work. I tried it. It doesn't work. Meanwhile, it works for so many other people. So this one person, because maybe they did it wrong or maybe they didn't stick with it long enough, because you do have to stick with it for quite a while for it to really, really start working sometimes. Because it doesn't work for some people or they didn't apply it properly, they're gonna go around and tell people like you that, hey, brain retraining doesn't work. This doesn't work. You know, don't believe that person. It didn't work for me. Meanwhile, they're still sick. Right? So it's just really interesting to see. And, you know, I don't say this to offend anybody. I'm just here to speak the truth. And I know you know what I'm talking about. A lot of these groups online trying to offer different advice from people who never really recovered, right? And these support groups are not really support groups. That's why we have very, I don't want to say strict, but we have very clear guidelines in this whole community. YouTube, if there's anything negative, remove it. If there's something negative in the Facebook group, we don't approve it. Right? We're very selective because if there is a negative comment, you know, and someone sends a whole paragraph of how horrible their situation is, we know, we understand that. Imagine if everybody shared that. You can share some of it, and we have this whole rule in our program. You can share your experience, but you have to end it with some kind of solution or some kind of question about a solution. You have to be seeking a solution. Don't just come in and spew your hardships and vent your hardships and then not ask, okay, so what's the solution out of this, right? We're very solution oriented. So you just have to be really careful of who you're getting advice from. And the thing is, I mean, we have doctors in the program at this point. And unfortunately, the medical system at this point has not caught on to this approach yet. I think they absolutely will in the near future. They're starting to. There's a lot of clinics around the world. They're starting to see that long COVID, CFS, fibromyalgia is linked to hypersensitive nervous system, AKA an overactive amygdala, if you want to get really scientific with it. But there is actually science to back this up. It's just not mainstream yet. So just be careful of where you're getting your information from. I do this and I say this because I'm looking out for you guys. If I was back 6 years ago, I was in the trenches, nearly no hope, and I was lost and confused, and someone told me, yeah, you know what? I've had this for 25 years. You actually can't get better. Or I've had this for 15 years. Sorry, you go in remission, but you never really get rid of this. That would have crushed me. And it did crush me when I read that stuff. So don't pay attention to the noise. Only listen to people who have actually been in your shoes, if not have been in worse situations than you. So if you're functional right now, if there's people who are bedridden, or were bedridden or housebound and they're offering advice, that might be worth listening to. But let's say you're functional and someone's bedridden and they're super sick and they've been sick for 15 years. Are you gonna listen to them, right? If you listen to them, you're gonna follow in their footsteps. You're probably gonna be sick a little bit longer, right? Now, it really depends too, because if they are getting better quite quickly, right? And they're really implementing an actual strategy, a plan, and they're actually working a system. If they've stuck to the plan and they're actually getting better, then yeah, sure, because they're accelerating, they're making lots of great progress. But if someone's stagnant, or if somebody is not where you would like to be, why would you ask them for assistance, right? There are so many other people out there you can get assistance from. On the recovery interviews on this channel, join our Facebook community or join another Facebook community, not just mine. There's great communities out there if you find them, but they have to be solution focused, or else you're going to find yourself running in circles, and it turns into not really a support group, but a network of doom. So you need to build this filter in your mind that blocks out the noise, but you need to know what you're looking for. So if you just stick to this simple concept of only taking advice from people who are doing better than you, or people who are a few steps ahead of you, or recovered, and they've actually been in your shoes, they actually know what it's like. For example, if you're bedridden, take advice from somebody who has been bedridden, or help people who are bedridden get better, because they have firsthand experience. Otherwise, they don't really have experience on what they're talking about. It's all secondhand. That's why I hear people say they go to all these doctors and specialists, and I did myself as well, and the doctor is telling them, yeah, you have low energy and you're feeling depressed, you should go exercise. What? Why would I exercise? I just told you that walking makes me feel worse. Yeah, but you'll feel better if you exercise. Did this guy even listen to what I said? Right? I had that experience many times, right? Or they send you to a physiotherapist and they get you on an exercise bike, or they say, you just need to get out more, right? While part of that is true, what happens if you're bedridden? You can't go outside, right? You can't go for walks. You can't do light exercise, because sometimes even sitting out of bed, that just ruins you. Depending on what stage you're at, if it was that easy, clearly we would have done it, right? And that's why I think there's a huge misunderstanding with doctors and specialists who kind of downplay this whole thing, and we end up getting frustrated, more emotional, which leads to more stress, which leads to more symptoms, and then we end up having this resentment inside towards the people who we expect to help us, right? But the truth is, a lot of them, their hands are tied. I mean, they weren't trained for this kind of stuff in school. I just got really lucky that my doctor figured out what was going on, and he even told me, I asked him, how do you know it was this specific issue that was going on? And he said, well, Miguel, if you came to me 10 years ago, I probably would have just thrown a bunch of medication at you, because at that point I wasn't able to connect all the dots of the hypersensitive nervous system and this system and that. And I got really lucky, and that's why I take what I do very seriously in terms of trying to spread awareness about what's going on, but more importantly, what are some solutions to get people unstuck? Yes, I share a lot of theory in here, I share a lot of principles and frameworks, but these are proven frameworks and principles that not just help me get my life back, to go from hospitalized to hiking up a mountain to watch a sunrise 10 months later. It didn't just work for me, it worked for so many other people around the world, and is continuing to work, whether they're in the program or not. Just from these YouTube videos, if you apply these, then they can be very helpful. So without going on too much further in this video, just be careful of where you get your information from. If people are telling you you can't get better, tell them to get lost, because they don't know what they're talking about. And the only reason they're saying that is because they haven't recovered themselves. So they're projecting their inability to recover onto you, right? And if you are that person, just stop, right? There's no point. Nothing good comes out of telling someone recovery is not possible. And you might think you're helping that person by saying, well, I just don't want them to get their hopes up, and I don't want them to be disappointed in the future when they have another flare-up or a setback. But you're really just hurting their belief and their chances of recovery long-term, right? So if you are thinking like that, you got to switch that. And the truth is, you may have been through a phase of that. Maybe you're in that phase right now where you really don't think it's possible, and you're going around telling people that. So if you are following this channel, if you've made it this far into the video, be a beacon of hope for other people. If you got in a little bit better, there's no reason you can't get a lot better. If you really had something else going on, it wouldn't allow you to make some progress and then cap it and then says, nope, you can only go up to here, we're gonna bring you back down to here. No, if you follow a right system, the right principles and frameworks, you can build upon that, right? And continue to rebuild your life back to where it was, if not better. Actually, the goal is not to get back to your old life, it's to build a 2.0 version of yourself. So that's all I wanted to share in this video. Just be careful what's out there. There's a lot of misinformation. Do your best to stick to the solution, be solution oriented, and only take advice from people who have been in your shoes and have actually recovered, or if they're a few steps ahead of you. Hope you enjoyed this video. Take care. Always remember, you are a thriver. You are just one mind shift away from living a life with thriving health. I'll see you in the next video.